Welcome back to the CuttyandGovy show. We're here at Stella Mix Studio, and last week we had Cutty Jr., our guest, and this week it's Thanksgiving week, and this week we have Cutty Jr.'s sister, Miss Cutty Jr., and her fiance, soon-to-be husband. We tried to talk him out of it, but he won't hear.
I insisted.
He insisted. And his name is E. So we're here before we start our show. We're going to talk about my book. It's out 2 weeks now, and it's called Left Foot, Right Foot, Survival Guide for Business and Life. We're 2 weeks in. We sold 15,000 copies so far, right? And
bestseller.
Hopefully it'll be a New York Times bestseller. All you have to do is sell 5,000, which we've exceeded that. But now I'm starting to find out there's politics involved, so we'll have to get through the politics. But anyway, it's really interesting. In my category, which is real estate and motivational stuff, there's 800,000 books in that universe. You know, they could be new or they could be 10 years old, but they're still for sale. My book this week was number 338. What do you think, guys? A little round of applause. A little silence here, you know? Yeah. Anyway, we're here today, and unfortunately...
I just want to say one thing about your book, though.
Yeah.
That's really nice. You know...
Govy read it.
Yeah, in everybody's story, you know, when they're starting out, there's always one client, one person that really does make a difference in either gives you confidence to get higher. Like there's always, you have a client that like you could turn back and say, wow, that changed my business. Mm-hmm. And I've known you for 40 years. I know like some of the people in your chapters, like I knew the names, but I never knew Miss Armstrong. I never knew that there was a lady that had the farm that...
My first job.
But she was a life changer for you. Like an innocent, nice person. It took a nice person to actually help you. Right. I never knew it was Miss Armstrong.
Yeah, so everybody go buy the book. It's motivational lessons I learned in my 40-year career. And it's all fun stuff. It's like our podcast here. It's all fun stuff. But anyway, we wanted to...
Could I actually interrupt?
Oh, my gosh, sure. I mean, I'm beaming here.
Because I actually have... That's interesting that you mentioned that, because I actually have a very distilled image and memory in my mind of when my dad... Sorry, I'm a little nervous. When my dad actually gave me a very sound piece of advice that changed the course of my... trajectory when I was in college. I don't know if you remember this, but it's like my number one piece of advice, which is to take the emotion out of it. When I was in college, I did 1 year at the New School. I was a dancer, and they had an excellent dance program that sort of partnered with Ailey. For those that know Ailey, that's a big deal. But I was missing a more traditional education, and I transferred to Barnard up at Columbia, and I wanted to continue my dance education but also tag on a new major. And by the time I was set to graduate, do you remember this?
Yeah, sure. English.
So I tagged on English, and when I was set to graduate, the bursar or registrar called me up. It was like a week before graduation, and they said, lady, you're not graduating with both majors. And I was like, what? I had worked all this time. I had put in all this effort, and I called my dad sobbing and crying, and he said, Sam, the first thing you have to do is take the emotion out of it, collect all of your evidence, all of your emails with your guidance counselor, whoever the person who oversees and signs off for your next classes. Collect all that, get a meeting with the president of the school, state your case, and it should be fine. And I did all those things, and I graduated with both.
Wow.
Hey. Well, let's give a little background about
I wish my kids could tell me the one thing I gave them that changed their life. That's a compliment
little
right there.
Background for Miss Cutty Jr. So we're not going to reveal your age, but they've lived, both of these guys, they're from originally Philadelphia, but they've been half their life in the New York area, and they're raising a dog in Center City. New York, and I said, well, how's that different? You both grew up in the suburbs of Philadelphia, and you always had a dog. I mean, raising a dog, walking the streets at 10 o'clock at night to walk your dog at the end of the night. I mean, is it nerve-wracking in New York? Or?
Puppy pads, peewee pads.
That's what you're promoting.
That's what I would. Well, that's what I would do. Like I wouldn't.
They
be
have
going,
a big dog, though. I mean, I don't know that the peewee pad would work.
She's housebroken, so we don't need the pee-pee pads.
But anyway, let's give a little background on Sam here. She went to Columbia and Barnard, and then graduated and did. And one of the reasons we want to have these guys on the show is they're just so informed about life. You know, we're past. You know, well, we're. You know, if you're looking at the speedometer of life, we're on the other side of the mountain. You know, these guys.
I would like to ask her a question.
Well, let me just give a real fast background. So she was a dancer, and she did that for a little while. Then you went to the actress. What was the formal name of that?
I had a momentary lapse of insanity. I thought that I wanted to be an actress. So for 2 years.
After Columbia, getting 2 degrees at Columbia.
Yeah. I missed performing. I loved dancing so much. But my relationship with it was changing, and I was trying to figure that out. And I had been taking improv at Upright Citizens Brigade, which is like a New York staple. I feel like an institution that everyone goes to.
So what happened? What happened that you didn't? That you stopped? What was there a moment that said that it didn't work?
Yeah, I think and actors and actresses out there, please don't crucify me. But I think for a lot of actors and actresses, it is like a vehicle or an escape to not be in your own skin. And I always, which seems obvious at this point, but I always just like wanted to be myself, but have some sort of creative outlet and self-expression. And I loved performing, and I love storytelling, which is why I think we connect so much, because you're a storyteller as a photographer, and
he's a photographer.
Do you think it's easier for an actor or actress to actually be someone than they're not? I think it would be easy, because then their whole life is acting.
But don't you think a lot of I agree with you. Don't you think a lot of actors are almost like Tony Soprano is almost like that James Gandolfini? I mean, he's a rough guy.
It's a version of themselves.
Yeah,
it's like that's what I was looking for. A version of it.
Yeah.
Here, you want to write the next chapter?
I'll co-write the next book with you.
But so Sam, after that, worked for this company called Electric Lady Records, which was the old Jimi Hendrix label.
Wow.
And dealt with a lot of these big stars. And now it came back. Who's the big star at Electric Lady now?
Taylor Swift records.
Taylor Swift records there now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot her name. Taylor Swift, right?
You know what?
Only Taylor Swift.
We break. I think Taylor Swift and Kelsey are breaking up.
He said that for a year. I said they're going to get married. I predict they get married.
I think they're going to get married too.
He has everything she's looking for. You know, he has his own fame. Lets her do herself, you know. Right. She gets to look into his family, gets to see the brother that's going to have 4 daughters. It's like, you know, it's...
I think also a part of it is, and again, I don't know Taylor Swift, and I'm just projecting here, but...
She was an Eagles fan.
Tall.
She's tall. But I think it's also like he's... And I am the only lady on this panel here. I will say you can tell he's proud of her. He's proud to be with her.
Right.
And I think
How do you know that?
Because he's always at her concerts, and they have like it seems, I don't know.
He's her security. Opens up the door. It's like you just see.
It's like he's proud to be with her. Whereas I think, and this is for the Swifties, the lore, but it's, you know, in the Reddit chats, I would imagine there's some of her other boyfriends who might have not been so nice are like.
I think she had a tough road.
I only saw her one time. It was 2001. It was the 76ers.
You saw her concert?
No, it was the 76ers Los Angeles Lakers NBA Finals. And she came out at like 10 years old and sang the Stars national anthem.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
She's been a star that long.
And she came out and they announced, like, you know, here's,
Yeah.
So anyway, then Sam went to Imagine Entertainment and with Brian Glazier and Ron Howard from Happy Days. How do you say it?
Grazer.
I like malapropisms.
Yeah, wow,
yeah.
yeah.
There's so many of them that
I'm surprised that you got malapropisms.
Right.
there.
Well, there was a great entertainer. His name was what was his name? Norm Malapropism, I guess.
Norm Macdonald?
No. what was
I
his
loved
name?
him as a comedian.
He's a big fan.
But anyway,
I think he's great.
so
He's the
now
best.
Sam is with Universal as a producer and director doing documentaries. And this year she did Carlos Santana, which we saw his concert, where they previewed the documentary. And Maya Moore, was it?
Yeah.
Who was the great
Basketball player.
Yeah, female basketball player that petitioned to get this guy out of prison and ultimately married him. So, anyway, with that backdrop about your history, Sam, I mean, after COVID, do you think that the entertainment business has changed and won't change back? It's like all you read is that everybody's cutting the cord on their cable TV. It's so much money, and everybody, streams off of their phone. Even me as a 67-year-old guy at night, I find, I'm looking for Govy on my Instagram all the time. My reels.
One thing I see. Tell me if we used to go to concerts.
Yeah.
But concerts were like reasonable. They were like $50, $25.
Well, with Ticketmaster and
Right, all the fees.
all the fees.
The fees are like crazy.
Crazy.
So now you go to a concert and forget Taylor Swift, just a regular concert.
Sure.
It's crazy. But when you go to the movie, now you see like Taylor Swift's concert will be in a movie.
Right.
Or if you saw Rocket Man, you get to see a little bit in a movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have Bob Dylan is going to be in the movie theaters.
Yeah.
But eventually, do you think that concerts are just going to be, because they have all these things, and like all of a sudden, it could be Dead and Company.
Yeah.
And instead of going that you might not be able to go to this theater, you'll say, be at the
Like top, yeah.
12-plex movie theater, and you'll be watching a
Right,
concert.
it'll feel like
at
you're there.
a movie theater, rather than it's easy, it's $10, it's $20,
And it's convenient. You can
Yeah.
do it at your own schedule.
and the sound now is spectacular.
Right.
And then they show you the up close image. Like, even when you're back all the way and you have good seats, if you want to look at the drummer, it's hard. You really can't because you're
sure.
looking through all the. Now they show you the close up of the drummer. I think that movies, people are going to start going to the movies to see concerts.
I think they're not mutually exclusive in the sense that one has affected and impacted the other, certainly. Like, you don't just go to the theater anymore. You want to watch movies from the comfort of your own home, but you also, for concerts specifically, or like a great epic like Wicked just came out, right. And you want that theater, that theatrical experience. And with concerts, like, I'll always remember you saying about, you're a big music buff, and growing up, I have all of his records. We have like a little record player at home, and I have all of his records.
The old vinyls.
Yeah.
The
I
old
have
vinyl. Do you still have your old
Yeah,
vinyls?
what did you listen? What did you listen to?
Oh, well, look, Grateful Dead, Van Morrison,
Grateful
Bob
Dead didn't
Dylan,
really make
James
out.
Taylor.
James
I was
Taylor
James
when he
Taylor.
had hair,
But so I have all of his, and I remember you saying like, I'll never
Pre-heroin,
forget.
post-heroin.
Who was the guy that I used to listen to that he changed his name because he almost drowned and then he became
Cat Stevens?
Cat Stevens.
Yeah,
He's
Cat
Yusef
Stevens.
something.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Cat
He's
Stevens.
coming back a little. I've
Yeah.
seen him on Instagram. But
No, but I remember you always said like you went to see Elton John
Right.
and Billy Joel dueling pianos.
I saw
oh,
that.
man, that was
That was great.
That was
Something
like
to
the
say that you were
best,
there.
Yeah, you want to say that you were there, especially now in like an Instagram culture. Like if you don't post it, you weren't there. I mean,
Right.
I know
So
that.
this is the question I ask these guys in the car. Do you feel that you're, and this is apropos to exactly what you're saying about music choices, do you feel that at your age, 30s, you're a different generation than your brother who's 20?
100% because Jake and I share a Spotify. I give him my password, and what he's listening to is completely
But it
different.
seems like we're the
Wow.
new entertainers. Do you see new entertainers? It seems like everybody's still Taylor Swift's around your generation, my generation, Charlie.
Well, I'll give you a difference between their generations, and I'm just guessing I'm going to know your answer. Jake will sit here last week, and I will say to him, you just finished a concert, you're at Madison Square Garden, and you're leaving. It's 1 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
or you went to dinner afterwards. It's now 1 o'clock in the morning. do you walk home? And let's say it's 15 blocks or 20 blocks. He says, yeah, no problem. And I'm like, but don't you hear about like the stabbings and the other stuff? He goes, I'm okay. If it feels like a nice night, I'm going. Now I'm going to say to you, would you walk home alone at 1 o'clock in the morning in New York?
I'd like to think I have a bit of like New York savvy, but as a woman, it's a totally
Not at
different
1 a.m.
thing. Yeah, not at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
How about you?
Yeah, I would. Well, actually, if it's 1 a.m., it depends the neighborhood, I guess. But
But aren't you
I would
thinking?
city bike.
Aren't you
I feel like
Uber
or
to
you-
like
Jake
your
is like a
10 blocks is not that
specific
much.
kind of animal when it comes to his
Puts a
mental
hoodie on,
fortitude.
he's
Yeah,
like,
he
looks down.
he-
But aren't you nervous
enjoys
of the
that.
subway now? Aren't you a little nervous of the
You
subway?
take the subway?
I do take the subway.
New Yorkers have to take
Yeah,
subways.
I enjoy city bike way more because you
Yeah.
don't be surrounded by people.
Yeah, so they
It's
do.
like
They explain to everybody
Wait,
what the
what do you
city
take?
bike.
city bike. It's like a bike share system in New York. You can pick up a bike from a dock and get anywhere much faster. It's cheaper than taking a cab.
Except you're riding your bike and you got to worry about the traffic and getting hit by a car.
It is a little hazardous.
There's part of that, but in New York, it's the bike lanes are like very shielded now.
getting better.
It's,
Do you
it's
have a
getting
helmet?
better.
No,
So you have no helmet,
it's very European, like Amsterdam kind
Yeah.
of vibe.
but it's not Amsterdam. That's the problem.
So the way it works,
Well, it's getting more like it because the bike lanes are more dedicated now. You're not in the
Yeah,
road.
Yeah,
you're,
so
you're insulated.
the way it works outside of their house, there's a rack of bikes. You throw 2 quarters in. What is it, $1?
No, it's you have an app.
Use your
and-
phone.
An app.
Yeah.
And you wheel out a bike.
and where do you leave the bike? Do you have to?
At
There's a new
dock
rack
near where
wherever
you're
you're
going.
going.
Yeah.
There's another
Or your
rack.
It's like
destination.
subway stations. There
Yeah,
are
you-
docks.
and they have all
over
these
there.
different docks that you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
One
it's
of them
not your.
it's fun.
steals your
it's
bike
not-
where they
it's-
can't.
It's
steal
not
it.
your
You drop
bike.
it off. It
It's not your
locks.
bike. Yeah.
You're taking any random bike.
Yeah.
You're taking
It's a
bike
bike share.
12 and putting it in a
What happens
dock.
if you want to go to a store and if you're not done with the bike and you want to leave it
That's
outside?
You lock it
question.
at the nearest dock, which is
Yeah.
usually right around the corner, and then you walk the rest of the way.
And then if you need the bike back, you just take another.
Take another one.
Yeah.
You just borrow it for 10
It's a
minutes.
whole different system than ours. We're 3-4 generations from them.
You get fresh air. It's nice.
Yeah.
How
That's
do,
nice.
how do you know that? Who's charging the air and putting in the air? The people at the dock station.
Some of the bikes are messed up.
Yeah.
But generally they're good.
They're electric
But
bikes.
they
They're
have a
electric.
guy come and service
Yeah,
the
there's a- yeah,
bikes
they
every
service
like
them.
night or whatever. And
It's
a lot
amazing.
of them are electric. I like riding the electrics
Right.
because I'm 5'2"
It's
and I have
fast.
little legs, but it's
Isn't that dangerous?
What?
The electric bikes. You see the people
Well,
that
you
fall off
temp-
the back and.
You have to know what you're doing. for
Everything's
sure.
dangerous.
Everything's
You have a
Driving is
helmet?
dangerous.
So you don't have a helmet either.
I bought her one. I mean, it's not convenient because you just want to get it, and
Yeah,
you
you
don't
just
have
wanna
your
get
helmet,
it,
and you also
exactly.
want to look fashionable.
Yeah, but
anyway.
on an electric bike, you hit a pothole.
I know.
You have to
gotta be
always be
careful.
paying
Knock on
attention.
wood.
Yeah. Like
You
I
ride
never
at
put
night?
headphones in. I do ride at night.
Well, how do you see a
sometimes.
pothole at night?
There's light on the bike.
Oh.
Yeah.
But let
So
me
you
give
got to pay attention to pedestrians. You got to pay attention to other cars. You got to pay attention to the thing. Isn't that a lot? Like that's not relaxing. It's not a relaxing bike, right?
But the bike lane is like cordoned off, so
Yeah.
you're
You
not
gotta try it.
fighting
It's fun.
traffic. Yeah, it's
Do you have
really
an
fun.
e-bike?
Yeah, but look at all these scars on my finger. And let me tell you. Yeah, let
He
me tell you
fell
what
off
they're
of his
from.
electric bike.
No, I'm driving. It had just rained,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at what I thought was water, but it was a pothole filled with water.
Right.
So
And
I'm
you
thinking,
flew.
yeah, I flew right off the bike
Yeah.
because I went right down into the pothole.
I
I
will-
thought I was just driving over.
My
a
dad
puddle.
fell off his bike too. The same
Yeah.
way.
I will also say your electric bike is like twice the speed as a
You wanna
city
buy
bike.
kind of.
Good.
But you know what though? The electric bikes though, they happen to be great for colleges, like
Yeah.
campuses. Like if I was going to like a big campus like University of Florida or Penn State, I mean, how great's that instead of a car that you can get to class
Yeah.
on an electric bike?
It's so much more-
Micromobility.
Yeah.
They
it's
use
seamless.
skateboards. All the
Well,
kids use-
FAU, they're all on these.
Yeah.
They're all on the skateboards.
Yeah.
We never had that, boy.
But anyway, getting back to the music, look, I just listen to my satellite in my car and I flip around to all the stations. Are there new entertainers for the 18 to 22-year-olds different than the people that you listen to, the 30s?
Yeah.
Really? Who are they?
Sure. New.
You know better than I do.
Who's like?
I don't mean to put
Do you
on
ever
the
picture?
spot. I
do you
mean,
ever
I
picture
just don't-
someone
I
that
don't
you
know.
listen to now?
Yeah.
That's like 35
Jelly
years
Roll.
old.
Leon Bridges is cool.
But
Yeah,
but
but
like
he's
35
our,
years
like-
old.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
And you say to yourself, boy, I knew them when they were like 20.
Yeah.
They're now at 35. Maybe they're at the end. And like to me, I remember going to a Rolling Stones concert like in the late 70s.
They'll
But then I
never
went in
die.
1981. I remember when they were coming through and they changed their music a little
Their
bit.
sound.
And all of a sudden, we were like, okay, here's the Rolling Stones. This is their swan song. They're the old Stones, 1981.
Right.
Who would ever think that they would go on for
Right.
another 40 years?
Still be doing it.
They must
Crazy.
be out of money.
When Jerry Garcia,
Right.
when
But they
Jerry
just love
Garcia died,
doing what they're good at.
you know, he
I
died
think
in
touring
19
now
what
is different 'cause
95.
it's luxury now.
Is that
You know,
right?
back in
So
the day,
19,
they didn't
I
have
thought
the
like
luxury.
they were done.
Well, you don't make-
They went on for
Right.
another.
You make
Never.
money touring. You don't make money
Oh.
selling albums anymore.
So you make money touring now. You don't make it selling albums.
Right.
yeah.
That's where the money's at. But so getting back to your career, and then we're going to. These guys are watch guys. They're going to talk watches. But I'm just curious for our 400,000 plus viewers that watch our reels every week. What type of documentaries are you guys looking for? Maybe they could send comments when they hit the subscribe button and their, comments.
What they would like to see?
Yeah, what they'd like to see. Like, what's good? What do people want to see? What can you make? I mean, it's really hard, to get a Carlos Santana. I'm sure somebody did a Mike Tyson. I'm sure somebody
Is
did
it real?
one.
Do people want to see real stories like the Menendez brothers? Like, do people want to see real stuff, not, for
Yeah.
television content?
Like Stranger Than Fiction.
Yeah.
Truth, Stranger Than Fiction. Yeah, I would say it's a layered answer, but generically, like right off the top, it has to be a great story. And like what makes a great story or what makes a great documentary really is access. So that means with Carlos Santana having access to him, or if it's a true crime thing, having access to the main players in like the Menendez brothers, if you're doing a doc on them, having access to them, and archive. So if you have a treasure trove of never before seen photographs, like documents, like legal papers.
So, like, Bruce Springsteen's going to have one coming up. There will be one.
I'm sure.
People will be going to the movie theaters and seeing a Bruce Springsteen concert.
But they're going to have direct access to Bruce Springsteen, you're saying.
The filmmaker and the production company.
So when she did Carlos Santana, it was just her and somebody else, and she was in Vegas, L.A., and Hawaii with them.
Yeah.
So it was just, you were
He had
kind
an
of...
interesting story.
Really interesting. He's a really interesting character. And it was kind of like this fever dream of making it because it was right in the middle of COVID. And it was me and like 4 other people and Carlos Santana in the Vegas desert. I don't know if you've ever spent more than 2 days in Vegas. I spent 2 weeks there,
Wow.
which is not something
4
I
days
would
is
recommend.
4 days is my max
Yeah,
out of
it's your
time.
capacity.
Did you gamble when you...
So in the off period,
Yeah.
we would have some fun, but
You lost a fortune.
he lost
Yeah.
a fortune. But no, we were like living off of the strip. It was like a wild experience.
And what's your impression of Vegas? It's a shithole, isn't it?
No,
I
it's
mean,
not. It really isn't.
I mean, the
It's-
strip is nice, but, the surrounding
It's just
area...
it's underdeveloped. But now a lot of people are leaving LA
Because of the taxes.
because the taxes.
Yeah.
And like Mark Wahlberg just bought like a crazy compound. Like a lot of businesses.
all
like,
the sports teams are there now.
Right. And like Tom Brady, right? The Raiders.
And it's
Right.
easy for land. So
Yeah.
it's like if someone needs something, like especially they have all the recreational weed places
Yeah.
there. So someone says, okay, just go a little further out in Henderson, and
Yeah.
it's flat build.
It's sort of like the new frontier. It's like completely underdeveloped. I mean, like what do I know?
Well, there
but-
are they're like where Mike Tyson lives. There are some really, really expensive neighborhoods
Oh,
where
yeah.
Shelley Adelson lives.
Wayne Newton's a client of mine. So I had
Dropping names,
no,
Gavi?
no. So I went out to Vegas.
He wants to be a client of
No,
yours.
no. But I went out to Vegas, and I'm with Wayne Newton. There's a wedding that we were going to together, and we're walking to the chapel. It was at the Four Seasons. It's the little chapel by the sea.
Yeah.
It's downstairs there. And people were stopping him and saying, this is the greatest look-alike Wayne Newton. They just, because you see fake
Yeah.
Elvis people
Right.
all
Yeah,
around
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Imposters, yeah.
So they were asking to take a picture of him, and they're saying, you look just like him. And he didn't say anything. So as they take the picture, I said, don't you want to tell them that they got the real picture? He goes, no. So, and it's like, it's funny that
Yeah.
I wanted to say, that picture you got, he's really, and they would say, no way.
Yeah.
But it was him.
You have to do that now.
Now,
Yeah.
on these documentaries, though, that you do, don't the people have to be somewhat older where their career or their story's established?
So it's a good question because there's a sweet spot. You want someone who has had an impressive story and career, but you don't want them to be decrepit because it's always sad to
Right.
watch
like a
someone.
Clint Eastwood is like too old.
Has to
Well,
No,
I would
but-
say Liza Minnelli for it. Like
Yeah.
She's too old?
she's gone through some like health
Yeah.
stuff, and it's just it makes you feel sad about where they are now versus like you want them to be at their glory and like what's next? What's their next chapter?
Why wouldn't someone do a documentary, say, if you're young? Let's say if you're
Yeah.
27 years old, and just take the number 27. So look
Yeah.
at the people that died that were 27.
Right, Janis Joplin,
Jim
Jimi
Morrison,
Hendrix,
Kurt Cobain,
Amy
Hendrix.
Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse. You can go on and on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good idea. A little documentary on the 27.
Is this a pitch? I like it.
No. But
No,
like,
it's a
sometimes,
pitch.
but sometimes at 27, they're really young.
I know.
I mean, like
It's really
when you
sad.
think about it, my
Prince,
kids
how
are
old
much
was
older.
Prince?
Older.
He's older, but you'd need a person that at least lived. Like, give me until he's 50. At 27, it's like, what are you
Right.
going to do? Tell him at 16 he's in high school.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like some of these artists, like Justin Bieber, Billie Eilish, like they come out with these docs like pretty early on. Taylor Swift, but they've had these long careers. Like a lot of life has happened. What makes a great doc, and it sounds silly and obvious, but it's a great story. Like something you can sink your teeth
you know
into.
what's nice that was just here? Wicked, the movie that
Yeah.
was out. Ariana Grande went to the
She's amazing.
Went to the movie theater here.
I
she,
saw that.
She took her grandmother right
Wow.
here, airport by the
Yeah,
Lu-
Markland or whatever.
yeah,
Cinemark.
Yeah,
Cinemark.
she decided.
Well, she's from here.
Yeah, she took her
Sorry.
grandmother to the thing, and people were taking pictures.
Yeah.
and with her. And I look at it like, here's a person that went through the Manchester bombing.
Right.
All the things. And this Wicked, this is going to be like a trilogy. This is going to be like, you'll look back at her. She could be in this thing for the next 4,
Totally.
like sort of like Star Wars. Like this could be her.
Franchise. Yeah.
I mean, she's a doc. She's one that went through that Manchester, went through a lot.
Totally.
So I'm going to ask your permission. Can we talk P. Diddy?
Sure.
Okay, I don't know if you know industry secrets or whatever. I mean, is that a documentary that's going to be made?
Oh, for sure.
Oh.
I'm sure somebody's already on top of it.
I
Yeah.
think he
Yeah.
already sold. Why would he sell the rights now? He'd wait a little
Well,
while.
like the landscape has changed a lot with streaming platforms. Like I say, for me, I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to docs, where access is the most. You don't want to tell the unauthorized version. Like imagine David Cutler life story, and you have someone writing your memoir, and it's like they don't have your permission.
Be short.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's you want the buy-in, you want the permission,
I got it.
because
Access.
you want the access because you want their.
If you do a doc, you have to worry about dotting your I's and crossing your T's with all the people
the
that are
legal
involved.
stuff, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of,
There's whole departments that.
but there's
deal.
a whole, but with him,
Yeah.
I mean, you got names that you're going to
yeah.
throw
Right.
out.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, like,
Yeah, that's another component. Like
with
so-
deep money, they
Yeah.
have deep money that are going to
Deep
protect their name.
pockets,
Like
for
to me,
sure.
I'll tell your dad, Ellen DeGeneres, for instance.
Degenerate,
Okay.
malapropism.
Yeah. Okay. But my
Ellen
idea is
DeGeneres.
she moved to England, or she's moving to England on this thing.
Yeah.
And to me, she had him on her show 19 times.
Right.
I mean, that's not like once every. That's like twice a year. She's having him on, and he's bringing Justin Bieber out. She knew. Like LeBron James. The Philadelphia Eagles just played the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday Night Football. Did you hear the fans yelling into the box? You were at these parties, to LeBron.
Oh, wow.
And, like, he's just taking it. The whole box is like going, oh, my God.
So, but why do you think, like, they're claiming, and I only know from TMZ and the stupid stuff I read in the National Enquirer, but yet, they're claiming Jay-Z and Beyonce were part of this, but yet they're going up there on the stage and they're...
Did you just say Jay-Z? I see a red dot
Why?
right here. It's,
Why
it's
they
a target.
Yeah. I don't know.
No,
if they're-
I'm not.
I don't know.
I'm reporting what
I
I'm
don't
reading.
think I don't know if Jay-Z's in, but I can tell you, J Lo was definitely involved
at the
because she was
shooting.
there. She was in there. But there's rumors that he told her to sleep with Justin Bieber.
I I don't know. I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, there was
That's
rumors
crazy.
that's
But
you know,
like, if you live in Hollywood and you live in that world, I mean, do you think those people subliminally know everything that was going on? Like,
I don't know how subliminal it is. I think, I think
because everybody claims,
powerful-
"Oh, I didn't know anything."
they were there. They watched it. And this was a parade. This wasn't like it took place in the upper back room of the house. I think this was like the show.
Yeah, like a well-known. I mean, I
don't
think
want to get
money.
too deep into it. I'm just curious.
No,
like,
I
what you
think-
think's happening.
I think it's a poorly kept secret. I think a lot of people
Right.
have known for a long time.
Like Cosby, kind of.
Right. Like
But this is
that-
horrible for
Really
Hollywood
upsetting.
because you got so many people that showed up there. Like Jimmy Kimmel was there. You know, you got Usher was
Could this
there.
take down Hollywood? You think?
I don't. It's no, I
Too
don't-
big.
Yeah.
Too
It's
much
an
stuff.
institution that's too big to
And
fail.
it's kind of like a diner plate theory. Like when this guy goes, another plate pops to the top.
Yeah,
you know?
and
It's
scapegoat, like scapegoat. Look what happened to Jeffrey Epstein. You know, like people said that was going to take down politics and people.
Well, it hasn't started yet. How do you know it won't?
the list is coming out.
The list is coming out. It
you
hasn't.
never
They
know.
squashed it pretty good for a while.
minute, for a
But I don't want to get hung up
Yeah.
on that. It's too crazy. It's maybe it'll
Controversial.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, so we're going to have an opportunity here. He is a big watch guy, huge watch guy, Gavi.
I see.
And he wants to.
Aspiring.
I see. He has the panda on right
He
now.
wants to interview you and see, get the inside scoop on.
Well, what's nice is you already know. You already know
Basics.
You already know the game. And the first rule is there is no list.
right,
So when everybody says put me on a list, there is no list.
right.
And
But you'll say it. You'll say
Yeah.
you're on the list, and they'll believe it, or
I don't even say
You don't say it.
I say
What do
there
you
is
say?
no
You
list.
say that.
I say there is no list because you could be
Right,
waiting
they
for
say
3
you-
years and someone could jump you. So you're allowed to jump
right.
the list.
We've
How about that?
registered your interest.
Right.
Is that what you say?
And the rules are people are allowed to jump the list, and it's something called an application watch. They're all all
Right,
the good
applicants.
watches are application watches, which means the company has to approve who you're selling the watch to.
But I have the first question because I watch Instagram a lot. How do you know? There's all these watch things on Instagram, and there's this one guy that's like a watchmaker or what's it called when you're a you fix watches, and he goes into
Watchmaker.
these
Watchmaker.
and he goes into these stores and he can say I can see that this dial was removed or something, or that's not
Right
the
there.
original crystal.
Experts.
How does us as a consumer, if we were to go buy a watch and it has a box and papers, know that that's the original crystal
hard.
or the
But-
dial? What?
It's
Is
really
that
hard.
a good question?
Yeah.
But
You like that question?
Yeah.
But you can learn. You can go to an app, 1916 company that was Watchbox. Go to an app.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy, Tim Masso. You can push in
Yeah.
any brand. You can put in Ulysses Nardin, this mountain. He will
Right, he's
show
an
you.
extreme expert,
and
yeah,
he
he
will
knows.
show you all the different things. So, for instance, on a Cartier watch,
Okay.
the dial, a lot of the copies, they don't have the money to put into a dial to make it more expensive. So, for instance, in the Cartier watch, on the Roman numeral 7, the 5, and it looks like a solid bar. But if you put it under a magnifying glass, it says
Right.
Cartier. And the ladies' watch, it's the Roman numeral 10. So the X, one of the X's actually says the word Cartier. So as soon as you look at it and someone has a copy, if you put your thing and it's a solid bar, it's a fake.
They're telltale
Yeah, but
signs.
you can see that, but can
Most
But
people
people can
can't.
learn. But people can learn. You can go
People
to like
get-
Tim Masso. You can learn some of the
right.
tricks.
But people get duped all the time.
They get duped all the time, and that's why you should buy from an authorized dealer that you can trust and bring it back. And if you're going to bring,
Yeah, but last year on Worth Avenue, they closed down one of the art galleries because she was selling like Chagall's and Picassos that were fake. I mean, even if you go into a jewelry store on Worth Avenue, you're assuming. I'm not saying anybody. You are the largest in the world, so obviously you have a huge reputation to defend. But if I walk into a jewelry, let's call it Hamey on Worth Avenue, I'm assuming because it's on Worth Avenue, the watches are real. How do I know that they are real? if they have the books, the papers, and they're like, and it looks
Well, you
good.
can take it off. There's a band where they has the serial number. There's
Right.
all the different types of gimmicks.
But would some like a store like that give me the watch, and I'd say, look, I'll give you my credit card. I want to take it to a watch
Authenticator.
Yeah,
Yeah,
authenticator.
they should be. If they resist that, then they already kind of
Right.
know the answer. They
Right.
already
They
kind of
say-
know. I wonder if I'm allowed to mention. Can I mention people that if I didn't sell something to that are like players? I guess it's
It's your
true.
show.
Yeah,
It's called the Govy Show.
No. So, for instance, some
Miss
people,
Cuddy Show.
some people with Rolexes, they put their own diamonds into the watch.
Right, aftermarket.
And they make like, here's my diamond Rolex watch when it's not from the
Right, not original.
It's not original. So what they did is they destroyed the watch.
Right, the value.
So years ago, there was a basketball player that played for the Toronto Raptors. His name was Mo Peterson, and he played for Michigan State college ball. And I was in when they were playing like some teams. I go down there, and he shows me this Rolex that he bought, and it's all diamonds.
Flooded out, yeah.
Flooded out, and he wants to know what it's worth. And I tell him it's really not worth anything because you can't sell it.
Right.
And so he goes, "What do I do with it?" And I kind of mentioned you got to like find somebody.
Right, there's a market, but
Like, he said, like, like a sucker or something. I go, no, someone that like likes to watch, is happy with it, but it's not it's not real.
not real.
So fast forward 8 months later, I'm at a basketball game, and I'm sitting with Plaxico Burress, who, by the way, went to Michigan State as a football player. And he says to me,
Play for the Giants, right?
play for the New York Giants.
Right.
He goes, "What do you think of this watch?"
Oh my God!
And I looked at the watch, and I'm like,
I've seen that before.
"This is the sucker. This is the friend who went to Michigan
Wow.
State. This is the person he sold it to, and he passed it on, and it was kind of
Found
funny."
his guy.
But people like do that to their watches. They
Right.
because it's a lot cheaper to put your own diamonds in it. But the person isn't telling them you just destroyed the watch, Brad.
Right.
Can I ask one more question before you go?
Sure.
All right, this is my last question. In your expert opinion of selling how many thousands of watches, what do you think the magic is that makes one watch popular? Not, let's say you're staying in the Rolex line, and there's the Batman watch or the watch that you have. Is that the Batman watch that's like insanely popular? And then there's other Rolexes that are dogs. In your opinion, what is it when they manufacture a new model? Is it that drives people?
Well,
is
it's
it
not-
the name Batman? You
No,
think?
it's the color of the bezel sometimes that does it. It's the watch and the style have been there. Like they have
Right,
ones
there's a
that
heritage.
It's right, and it's durable. You know that the watch is really meant to last 300, 350 years. So when someone says to you,
Really?
so
Right,
when
you
someone
can
says to
wear
you,
it every day.
I got a watch that's a year old. It's like, really? In the realm of things, that's why it can hold its value, and you don't have to
There.
worry about it breaking. Where if you got a brand new Jaguar, all of a sudden,
Well, I have my Oldsmobile out there.
but if you had a brand new Jaguar and you took it after a year to service
Right,
it,
depreciates.
and they'd say it's $1,000, but you had nothing wrong with it. It's like you're like saying thanks to them. This you really don't have to put a lot
Right.
of money into, and
Right.
it goes up in value.
But like that stainless steel Daytona, is that the one with all the circles? I mean, that's insane. Oh, that's what you have.
Yeah.
That's like insanely popular. You can't buy them, right?
Because the same movement goes into the stainless steel one as the gold one. So if you were Rolex and you said, "Here's the gold ones at 50,000, and here's stainless steel ones at 14,000. Let's make a lot more gold ones than stainless." So
very few
all
of
of a
them.
sudden, there's not that many, and now people don't want to wait. So now, as long as you have the value like a stock, like I was saying earlier,
Yeah.
if you know that the stock is say $32,000. If you think you're going to go into a store and you're just going to be able to walk in and say, "Hey, I found one for 14. I just made all this money." It's not going to work that way.
Yeah.
Right.
But you can find one at 32,000.
Right.
You
A lot of it has to do with hype, though, because like the Daytona wasn't popular when it came out. And then
I remember it wasn't
right.
popular.
They couldn't sell them, and then more recently, like Paul Newman, the Paul Newman watch went for like $22 million, and everyone sees these watches on Instagram, so everyone wants one.
Well, how about the Patek, the square Patek that just came out?
Right, the Cubitus.
The Cubitus. Okay.
Yeah.
So now you have that. Now, before it came out, everybody said, "Oh, it's a cross between the Santos, the Cartier Santos, and
Square watch,
the
yeah.
square watch, and then you had your Patek. You know,
Yeah,
it was
the Nautilus.
the Nautilus, and they said it's they don't like it, whatever.
Right, it's new.
But
Yeah.
then meanwhile, someone says you won't be able to get one.
Right.
You know, you won't be able to get one, and then all of a sudden you're looking and you're seeing these celebrities that are now wearing this watch.
Right,
And you can't get one, and it's the hottest
Right.
watch out there. And why? You know,
It's made of unobtainium.
I have
is that
another
right?
question. I'm stealing all your time, eh? I have another question.
Yeah.
This is my last question. Is there a percentage of women versus men fine watch buyers? Are women as buying as many of these watches?
they're a
as
very strong market into the certified pre-owned now. It took them a while, women, to want to buy certified pre-owned. They are now understanding it. I almost relate it to years ago, women didn't watch football like the NFL. If you said to me today, how many women are sitting there watching football and know it? They do. So women now understand certified pre-owned. It used to
Well,
be.
they buy vintage clothes, right?
Yeah,
You have
but
a
that,
watch.
that came.
Right. So like, what is
Wise
it?
got me
Hers
this
is a-
one.
What is
Watch.
a? You know,
Well,
it
I
feels
didn't
like
see it.
it's like a nice piece of jewelry. It's almost like a status symbol in some way, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of women wanted to know who wore the watch. See,
Right.
men, they
Do you
take
care?
off. They take off the
I
strap.
think I don't know anyone that.
Well, not
wore
that
it.
one, but
No,
like
No,
the,
but let's say I had a watch and I said it came from my gardener's wife. Like my landscaper had this watch. They want to know was
Oh,
it
the
the
chain
land?
of command,
They want to
like,
know was it was it
History.
Joseph? Was it Josephine from Napoleon? Because that was a
Right.
brigade watch. And maybe someone say, "Hey, I got I'll wear Josephine's watch."
Sure.
But you want to. A lot of women wanted to know
story.
where did the watch
The
come
story
from.
of it.
Yeah.
Where a
Back to
guy's like,
stories.
Back to stories.
a guy's like, I'll take off the strap. I'm going to shine it up. I don't care who wore the watch. It's,
Right.
it's 2 years old,
Well, it's like the.
and women are still attached
Well,
to.
I think people are. I'm superstitious, so I would be concerned. I would want to know kind of where the watch came from in case the guy, let's say, died in a car accident. I don't want his watch. You know what I'm saying?
so then, so you're
it's cursed.
That's what I'm saying.
so then in the Asian market,
Yeah.
they are very superstitious of numbers. So if I said to you right now, tell me the number on the back of your watch, your serial number, you would have no idea.
Right.
You might not even get two numbers right. They won't buy a watch
Really?
sometimes with the number
I've never-
3 on the
That's
back.
crazy.
Because 3 is just unlucky. Now they'll pay
Wow.
more for 8s. You know, so
that's
we
so
don't
cool.
we don't care about numbers. So when you talk about superstition, the Asian market
That's
is
crazy.
very
Right.
very superstitious
Right.
on number. They'll pay cars for license plates.
In Dubai, yeah.
Very
Right.
superstitious. huh?
Right. So it's all depends on the type of thing. But what questions do you have?
See if you can stump on me.
I mean, I guess like what are the trends? Like I always like watches that are a little smaller. Like I feel like there's a trend towards big watches. Now it's going back.
Asian market, you would do great because they wear smaller watches
Right.
because they're smaller people. So they always take, the distributors of a lot of watch companies. Like it's Rolex USA, it's Breitling USA. So that's where the U.S. distributor buys his watches from Rolex Switzerland, and then this is his market. And Europe is another one. The Caribbean's one. South America's one. Far East is one. So the U.S. market sometimes doesn't buy heavy into something that isn't
Right, they're
going to sell.
trends.
And in the Asian market, they're buying heavy into the world. Like
Different-
we don't
different.
like gold dials. We have Americans have a tough time sometimes seeing a gold color dial with the hands that are gold.
Right.
Korea loves gold color hands and color dials.
I see. It's cultural.
It's just sometimes
Yeah.
it's cultural,
So do you-
so you don't know.
What trends are you seeing? Like,
Is it gold or is it what? Is it
No, I
stainless
see.
steel?
Stainless.
I see. Like younger people, I think getting into watches is mechanical watches or automatics. A company like Oris
yeah.
is a great watch to get into.
Tudor, maybe.
Tudor is another
Yeah.
great watch to get into.
Yeah.
Because it's like It's a great starting watch, mechanical.
Right,
you
has
can
a history.
It's a history. Great. That's a great watch
Yeah,
to get into.
uh-huh.
You know, Tag Heuer kind of is getting expensive for what it was, you know, for where it is. But they're another one. Breitling is another one that's mechanical that you can get into. And then you can get into your exotics with small boutique brands. Like instead of going to a big company, you can go to like Moser, D. Bethune,
Right.
you know, F.
Crador,
Yeah, you know, like some like watch
Gavi,
companies
you
like
won't
that.
believe it. We just got flashed. Our show's over. You guys thought, how are we
And-
going to go through
and you know
a
what?
whole
Time
show?
flies
And I'm
when
gonna
you're
tell you
having
what
fun.
we
Can you
learned
believe
today.
How fast it was?
It flies.
But I'm going to tell you
Was
what
it
we
fun?
So fun.
You guys were great guests, and you were really cheap for us.
you know,
We like the fact that you were cheap. We didn't have to pay you to come here. Just
Sam-
a dinner. Just a dinner tonight.
you know what we learned today?
What's that?
That everybody on this Thanksgiving, they don't have to talk politics in
Right.
order to have
We're
a good
tired,
time.
though, of all
It's
the,
a Thanksgiving
you know,
episode.
There's a lot of stuff, but we'll wait.
Right. There's plenty
We'll
to
wait
talk
because
about.
at the
Next
dinner
week.
table for Thanksgiving, I think everybody should try to stay away
I agree.
from politics. It's a losing situation.
Right.
It really is. So on this Thanksgiving, people
gonna
should
stay away.
stay away from politics on this Thanksgiving.
I like that.
Anyway, one more shout out. Left foot, right foot. Survival Guide for Business and Life. It's the Gavi Show with Miss Ketty,
Can I just,
Mr. E.
I just want to give my quick
Yeah,
picks.
let's hear this picks.
Quick picks.
These are his
NFL,
picks.
I'm going to go with Bears plus 9.5 over the Lions. Dallas minus 3.5 over the Giants. Miami plus 3 over Green Bay. Arizona plus 3.5 over Minnesota, and Washington minus 6 over the Titans.
You
I
like
split
Dallas
last week.
over? You like Dallas?
Dallas is over the who? The New York Giants.
Yeah.
Giants threw in the season.
I know, but I mean, there's still it's a rivalry. You don't think it's going to
Giants throw. They have
Yeah.
they jump ship on that.
Oh, my
Dallas
God.
still thinks they have a chance. So.
I know. Anyway, everybody, thank you for listening.
Have a happy
great week.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.